Welcome to Wigglesticks TV. Today I'm going to rebuild the stock steering dampener off my 98. When you're moving up and down, it just wasn't a smooth, as you can see here, it just wasn't a smooth movement of the actual shaft inside the steering dampener. I'm going to purge the oil out of it. So now I'm just undoing the screw for the bleeder valve. I'm trying to get out the little seal and then just moving the piston back and forward to get the oil out. So now I've got it in the vise. I'm going to fill it with new fork oil. There's a few different ways that people have said to do this. I'm going to do it with a syringe into this little bleeder hole here, and just fill it up. It's supposed to take about 20 mils or so. You can see the fluid that was in there previously, so it's not a lot of fluid. So I'm just going to use this little 20 mil syringe and just keep pumping it in there until no air bubbles come out, and then we'll see exactly how the travel of the shaft or rod or whatever it's called. So I'm using Motul 7.5 W lightweight medium fork oil. A few of the people on the forum said that was probably the best one to start with, so I'm going to give it a shot and see how it goes. I'm just going to fill up the syringe and start putting it in there and then pumping it back and forth and seeing what happens. I don't have any footage of the oil actually going into the steering dampener because the GoPro had a bit of a meltdown. But essentially you just pump it into the bleeder valve, press it up and down, and then move the shaft back and forth until the air bubbles come out, similar to just bleeding a brake. It's a pretty simple process. Hopefully, it's not too difficult to understand. So the dampener tab is actually feeling quite good now. I don't think there's any air bubbles or anything left in it. Just going to cycle it through a couple more times and see how it feels. The change in fork oil was definitely needed because it's actually much more difficult to pull it or push it in and out now. But there's no grabbing or anything as the shaft goes back and down inside the dampener. So I ended up buying all new mounting hardware and stuff for this anyway the other day. But it's a pretty simple process, I would say, to change the oil in a stock 98 steering dampener. You just need a syringe or some other way. Probably a syringe, I think, is the easiest way to do it. Some people have said to put the whole dampener inside a container full of fork oil, but I think that's just probably a waste of fork oil, and you would get fork oil everywhere. A vise, it's a pretty easy little job. So I'll just go and torque this to the correct torque spec and grab the mounting hardware and stick it on. You can see the colour and the murkiness of the fork oil that came out of that dampener. So it's probably due for a change anyway after 25 odd years. Tad frustrating. This is the original mounting hardware that came with the steering dampener, and I thought I ordered the correct replacement for the pieces that I didn't have, but however I'm missing a little washer, which wouldn't be that hard to find, but the dust seal, I only have one dust seal, so I'm going to have to wait until Suzuki open in the morning and go and get the correct seals, because you can see they should have one at the top on here and then one at the top on the other point. So not a huge problem, just mildly annoying. So I think I'm going to put I'm going to put the steering dampener in and just leave the dust seal from the base of this bolt where it goes into the front, and then I can replace that on Monday. You'd have to pull the whole thing out again. I'm not really going to be riding it very far anyway. I'd just be interested to see what difference it makes to the handling and see how it actually performs. So that's my neighbour's kid having a bit of a meltdown in the background, if you can hear that, but so I'll just install it now and see how we go. So the steering dampener installed now. Just going to torque up the bolts and take it for a quick spin around the block and see how it feels. Just back from a quick test spin. Seems to make the bite handle a lot better. Seems to be tracking in corners a lot better now. I had to take the previous dampener off because the tank bag interfered with where it mounted, so it feels much better. Having one back on there now is really flighty and really sketchy in some of the corners without a dampener on there, so yeah, turned out pretty good in the end, and I might look at getting a proper one a little bit later on down the track, but in the meantime this one will do just fine just to settle it down in the front end. Thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.